Every time your chest tightens, every time anger or sadness rises unbidden, it's easy to think you're under attack. But these triggers are not enemies. They are messengers, small flickers of light from a deeper self that longs to be seen. Tonight, we listen to those sudden flares without judgment. We ask, what do you need me to know? Because triggers are not meant to wound, they are gentle alarms, calling you back to the places where you left parts of yourself behind. And in their call, something tender waits to be healed. Commence this exploration by stepping softly into a world where each emotional rise and fall seems like the whisper of a distant echo. Imagine this echo as a rumble that draws you inward, toward an uncharted landscape within your own psyche, waiting in the quiet solitude of night or a contemplative walk before dawn. Visualize a door hidden inside yourself, seemingly dormant yet brimming with invitation. It is through this door that emotional triggers knock, not as invaders intent on disrupting your peace, but as messengers urging you to pay attention to the quiet shadows of your unconscious mind. Often triggers are perceived as sudden intruders, uninvited and brash, shattering the calm we so carefully cultivate. Envision tranquil waters suddenly stirred by the drop of a lone stone, sending ripples across the surface. Such is the influence of an emotional trigger, disrupting the surface of your inner peace. Yet each ripple carries a message, a call not to startle, but to awaken. It is the knock we cannot ignore, a gentle invitation to engage in dialogue with the depths we often leave unexplored, nudging layers of awareness to the surface. Stand before this inner door, feeling both hesitation and curiosity about what lies on the other side. With every trigger that emerges, the door to your subconscious creaks open, inviting a conversation, a notion deeply explored by Carl Jung. He believed these reactions were not foes but fragmented pieces of the self, reaching out for integration and understanding. Each trigger is a doorway to engage with hidden fears, desires and traumas, acting as a sincere invitation to personal reflection rather than an unwelcome interruption. In this world filled with constant clamour, triggers call for discernment, the ability to hear genuine growth opportunities amid the noise of daily life. This knock beckons stillness, urging you to turn down the external cacophony and listen closely to the signals from your deeper self. When the trigger resonates, pause to let this challenge transform into a chance to look inward, meeting what lies within with clarity and poise. To many, emotional triggers come as sudden revelations, sharp glimpses into the subconscious. These moments, much like lightning illuminating a darkened sky, hold profound potential for transformation by revealing what lurks in shadow. As Viktor Frankl suggests, in the space between stimulus and response lies our power to choose and grow. Triggers become catalysts for this potential, guiding us towards decisions that shape our path to self-discovery. Rather than leaving you feeling powerless, each intense trigger serves as a beacon of empowerment. Consider the profound shift that occurs when these moments are seen not as assaults on your emotional stability, but as opportunities for reflective emergence. Carl Rogers once stated that the self grows quietly strong and resilient through reflection. In this introspective space, personal narrative weaves resilience not through resistance or avoidance, but through acknowledgement and acceptance. Triggers act as powerful catalysts for personal evolution, each tense moment carrying the potential to unveil hidden dimensions of resilience and strength within you. Nietzsche reminds us that one must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Likewise, the chaos of an emotional trigger fosters personal growth, transforming obstacles into stepping stones on the path to enlightenment and self-discovery. Allow the knock to redefine your perception of peace, not as avoidance or silence, but a state that embraces the delicate dance between stability and upheaval. In this serene acceptance, peace becomes intertwined with the narrative of triggers, not unblemished by challenge, but enriched by it. Imagine the comfort of a candle flickering with resilience despite the consuming darkness of night. So too does resilience shine most brightly from the heart of turbulence. In times of emotional upheaval, surrender becomes an act of profound courage, a willingness to engage with a trigger, allowing its presence. This is an act of vulnerability and an echo of ancient wisdom, which teaches that resistance fosters suffering, while acceptance guides the soul to serenity. In this surrender, energy is transformed. Pain becomes insight, and chaos turns to clarity. Standing at the threshold of your inner world, feel the strength of the ground beneath your feet, reminding you of the inner strength that resides within. Before you is the uncharted realm of your mind, a sacred place rich with emotional depth. Taking the first courageous step through this door with an open heart, you welcome the knocks of triggers as trusted mentors on this inward journey. Thus you step beyond fear and into a landscape ripe with promise for self-awakening and transformation. As you continue this journey into the paradigms of psychological resilience and emotional intelligence, prepare to unravel the next chapter of this unfolding narrative, where the illusion of safety will be examined and the silent whispers of your inner world will begin to find their voice. Imagine your identity as a vibrant tapestry, woven from the varied threads of your experiences, beliefs and societal roles. A dynamic masterpiece, ever-changing yet seeming static to the untrained eye. This construct, often misunderstood as a solid truth, serves more truly as a survival strategy, an adaptive dance we perform to navigate the relentless sea of life. From the earliest whispers of childhood, we are subtly beckoned into pre-designed moulds, crafted by family expectations, cultural traditions, and societal norms. As we mature, our identities layer with roles: artist, skeptic, parent, healer, each role a piece of armour against chaos, offering us the soothing semblance of coherence in an often unpredictable world. Our instinct to adapt and craft identities is a primal dance, rooted deeply within the landscape of our minds. The profound labyrinth of human psychology reveals identity as a steadfast beacon amidst life's chaotic waters, a comforting anchor when all else seems uncertain. From this place of perceived safety, we weave our identities with repeated patterns, a process rarely touched by full consciousness. The survival instinct drives us, positioning identity as a delicate balance between genuine self-expression and pragmatic adaptation to the complexities of our lives. Labels, with their seductive simplicity, offer a script for understanding, a narrative to stitch onto ourselves and others. They're the shorthand for our existence, shaping how we move through space, how we relate. Occupation, status, values. These labels act as scaffolding upon which our public identities stand. Yet, within their ease lies the potential to obscure our depths, to imprison us within predefined boundaries, where the richness of duality, the mother who creates music, the lawyer who paints, becomes flattened and nuanced expression silenced. Our beliefs form an unseen armour that envelops us, protecting us from the universe's inherent vulnerability. As frameworks interpreting our reality, beliefs guide, comfort, and sometimes confine us. They offer explanations, constructing a fortress of certainty amidst the nebulous unknown. Each experience, each piece of gained wisdom, challenges this fortress, sometimes dismantling walls or erecting new towers. Are these beliefs the authentic echoes of our true selves, or are they merely strongholds against the uncertainty that whispers in the quiet? Roles, too, are a protective veneer, part of identity's multifaceted defence. Like actors on life's stage, we embody various characters: student, leader, caretaker, each with its own script, its own expectations. These roles guide us, offer purpose, and define interactions, yet they sometimes bury the truth of our essence beneath communal expectations. The challenge lies not in the roles themselves, but in our entanglement with them. We risk losing our true selves beneath their weight unless we learn to shed these layers, just as an actor steps out of character at the curtain's fall. Even as chaos looms with its destabilizing breath, identity stands as both our shelter and our sword. In the face of life's boundless uncertainties, our crafted identities offer order, predictability, and dominion, a mirage of calm amidst unsettling seas. However, this fortress can become a prison, for the solidity of identity can resist the very chaos that allows for growth and rebirth. Recognizing identity as a survival tool, we begin to embrace its fluid nature, understanding that amidst chaos lies not ruin but perhaps redemption. The allure of a fixed self tempts us with promises of stability. It is a comforting illusion, whispering that amidst turbulent waters, some part of us remains untouched, unchanged. Yet, our desires, thought, and feelings swirl and transform in a never-ending waltz with time and circumstance, rendering the concept of a static self an illusion. In releasing this misconception, we find liberation, acknowledging the beauty of impermanence and the power of continuous transformation. Shedding identity's armour is a courageous act, peeling back layers that once served as shields. As we uncover the tender core of our being, vulnerability transforms into empowerment. This is where authenticity flourishes, where the truth of our existence stands, unvarnished and whole. The armour once thought necessary becomes a relic of past need, and in its removal, we confront life's raw magnificence without pretense. When we recognise the fluid nature of identity, we unlock the gift of boundless freedom. This adaptability breathes vitality into our existence, inviting growth and creativity to flourish unbound by prior script. In this dance of adaptation, our identity remains vibrant, ever responsive to life's unfolding chapters. Through this embrace, we celebrate not just who we are, but who we are becoming, continually crafting a story rich with possibilities. This journey invites us to question the facades we've meticulously constructed, to search beneath the surfaces for the truths we've long hidden. As we peel back these layers, we uncover echoes of authenticity that rip through the repressed narratives we've accepted as our reality. Engaging with these questions, not with judgment but with curiosity, we begin to reveal the sacred mysteries of who we truly are. In this pursuit of authenticity, we dismantle illusions and embark on a voyage towards self-discovery. Identity becomes not a rigid framework but a fluid passage into deeper understanding. With courage, we navigate this terrain, casting off superficial layers and embracing a profound sense from the moment we draw our first breath. We step into a world already humming with the murmurs and demands of those around us. The eyes of our parents, caregivers, and the society that envelops us begin to carve our very being, like a sculptor shaping unformed clay. We smile to capture approval, cry to summon attention, mimicking the behaviours that make us feel sheltered and known. It's an unending dance shaped by the silent music of social conformity, an invisible choreography that nudges our souls toward pleasantry, safety, and acceptance. Yet, as we adapt, we often mistake the reflection cast by others' gazes as the truest image of ourselves. This reflection, which offers a certain rhythm and guidance, can also become a fetter. Though initially the eyes of others might feel comforting, over time their expectations begin to drape over our spirits like the thickest of tapestries. They usher us into a room filled with echoes of societal norms, whispering tales of who we should be. This journey to satisfy the unrelenting gaze separates us from our inner truths, making the eventual collapse of identity feel inevitable once we realise how deeply others have written upon our souls. Expectations mirror a version of ourselves crafted for others' ease. We contort and mould our identities, bending under an insatiable desire to fill every role and meet every demand. This constant construction yields a fragmented self, a patchwork of borrowed hopes and fears. In our pursuit of these reflections, clarity of self becomes obscured. The reflections gain power because they acknowledge our deepest fears, the terror of rejection, the sting of inadequacy, the threat of being inconsequential. Yielding to these shadows, we allow society to become the author of our stories, risking an abandonment of our true self. But once glimpses of authenticity splinter the illusion, the fragile comfort of these narratives may begin to fall away, illuminating a path to self-discovery. Vulnerability stirs discomfort. Masked by a facade of confidence and control, it's a timid whisper beneath the clamour of conformity. This habitual act of maintaining appearances, crafted for admiration, is sneaky and mightier than it seems. Yet embracing vulnerability proves a supreme testament of strength. The more we reveal our unvarnished selves, the deeper we peer into potential misunderstandings and judgments. This potential rejection often keeps our truest essence cloaked, hidden in false comfort. Here, though, lies the fertile ground for transformation. When we gather fragmented reflections into a cohesive self, we begin to appreciate the raw beauty of vulnerability. We disengage from the act, allowing an authentic self to rise cautiously at first, then with soaring confidence, challenging societal moulds and learning to withstand the scrutiny with inner grace. As we sail through life's course, internalized judgments form a cage around our self-worth, fortified by others' critiques and compliments. Parental disapproval during childhood sets up behavioural anticipations, while adulthood brings societal whispers dictating success, beauty, and relevance. To shed these shackles, we must become vigilant architects, dismantling these internalised forces. Through forgiving ourselves and nurturing compassion, we reject the narratives that once felt unchangeable. We transform sharp critiques into gentle whispers, unfurling a vast terrain for self-discovery and introspection. With this shift, we become the creators of our identity, where acknowledgement becomes not a badge of worthiness, but rather a gracious gift. The profound journey of redefining self-image is comparable to the ancient art of alchemy, where external validation transforms into the pure gold of self-acceptance. This reclamation of personal sovereignty requires profound introspection, necessitating a retreat into solitude to part the threads of societal overlays from those of genuine authenticity. Embracing rituals like journaling, meditation and silence, we guide ourselves back to a fundamental essence, This path forward is not one of pursuing flawless self-esteem, but nurturing self-compassion. By accepting each intricate facet of ourselves, even those once shrouded in shame, we forge an unwavering sense of self-worth, resistant to society's transient opinions. Many of us spend a lifetime as chameleons, tirelessly adapting to meet external expectations, shedding skins to merge seamlessly into any surrounding. While this adaptability can foster growth and acceptance, frequent reconstruction eventually leaches stability from our essence. Yet casting off these layers requires courageous renunciation, a bold unveiling of the true self with all its inherent vulnerability. Emerging from behind the masks, we confront both scrutiny and embrace, stepping into sincere connections founded on mutual acceptance. The freedom that comes with unfurling our true selves unlocks in the quiet realm of our inner world. Resistance often stands as the defiant guardian against the unsettling tides of emotional triggers. Like an ancient fortress, it springs into action when a wave of fear or shame threatens our shores. Yet, this instinctive barricade, thought to protect, often swells the very storm it seeks to keep at bay. Resistance is an unwillingness to heed the dance of emotions within, crafting a prison under the guise of sanctuary. It is here, within these self-erected walls, that we find ourselves ensnared by suffering's hold, fleeing the honest confrontation of our hearts. By resisting, we inadvertently gift our emotions greater power over us, forging a perpetual cycle of internal discord. Imagine resistance as a fracture within the self, a rift where one part attempts to quash an emotion while another strives to voice and release it. This inner strife turns the gentle ripple of discomfort into a tempestuous struggle. Resistance, rather than a foe, serves as an instructive guide, highlighting the path where acceptance must tread. Bring light to this struggle by approaching emotions with curiosity instead of recoil, allowing the barriers of resistance to wither away. Accompanying resistance is judgment, a cunning shadow cloaked in false protection. In the mirror of self-critique, we see anger or fear as betrayals of strength, deviations from our ideal self. Judgment sharpens its sword, moulding our behaviour to external moulds, yet its blade digs deep, sapping our well-being, scattering seeds of inadequacy through our soul. By viewing judgment not as a guardian, but akin to resistance, we glimpse its true form. It alienates us from emotional truths, denying us the depths of understanding we seek. Embracing ourselves with compassion over critique opens a channel for true emotional discovery. Denial, quieter but no less formidable, drapes itself over our consciousness like a mist. It whispers alluringly, lulling us from the sting of painful truths. This denial, born not from frailty but from a place of resilience, spins a web that distances authenticity. Its sheltering embrace, however, tightens around us, magnifying the unspoken storms we seek to forget. To unravel denial's hold, we must first summon its subtleties into awareness. Shine a gentle light on the emotions we resist most, recasting denial into acknowledgement. Witness the truth without haste to reshape it, welcoming revelations as they rise and offering ourselves the gift of clarity. Amidst these layered resistances, a whisper of insight stirs, tender and profound. Emotional triggers first emerge as quiet murmurings from our psyche's depths, whispers offering glimpses into the unknown chambers of the self. A gentle tap on the heart's door invites stillness, encouraging us to embrace the full spectrum of emotions as valid. By honouring these whispers, we transform habit into awareness, making space for the hidden narratives of our soul to be seen. It is a delicate whisper that reminds us our emotions, shadowed by the external world, are intertwined with the stories we carry within. As resistance rises, it paints the canvas of our emotional experience with magnified strokes. A whisper can crescendo into a roar, threatening to eclipse our peace, not through its power, but from the energy we impart in our defiance. Reframing our habitual resistance unveils the stories we tell ourselves, shaped by society, culture, and history, compounding our pain. Observation without entanglement helps untangle this web, challenging us to see amplification as a doorway. Awareness grants us the grace to dance with triggers without faltering, keeping us grounded in the moment, not swayed by its orchestrated chaos. Here, awareness emerges as a gentle balm, dissolving the hardened structure of suffering. It invites us, with tender patience, to observe our triggers without judgment or denial. In this new relationship, emotions are set free to exist as they are, unclouded by distortion. This conscious presence nurtures understanding, paving the way for true integration. Awareness trains our minds to breathe, to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Here we forge a path to another way, a synthesis instead of division, a softness replacing the rigid grip of resistance. Embrace surrender, not as defeat but as freedom. In the act of letting go, we unshackle the chains that bind, finding serenity in allowing emotions to flow unimpeded. Surrender dissolves resistance's scaffolding, liberating the heart's pathways for transformation. By embracing vulnerability, we transform perceived weaknesses into profound strength. Vulnerability unearths the authentic self beneath the fortified masks, inviting a brave exploration of our emotional landscapes. In vulnerability, we find the courage to face fear with love, recognizing in our fragility the seeds of true resilience. As we traverse from reaction to response, we embody the heart of transcendence, beyond resistance. Reaction, a swift reflex, fades to response, a deliberate harmony with our triggers. Here, haste is replaced by the gentle cadence of mindful choice. With practice, reaction transforms into reflection, sharpening our understanding and aligning our actions with integrity. Finally, emotional equanimity arises, a serene embrace of emotions' ebb and flow. Equanimity is not the absence of emotion, but a tranquil dance with all its facets. This state of grace teaches that emotions are messages, transient and insightful. It is in befriending these messengers that resistance gives way to growth, anchoring us in life's present symphony, tenderly guiding us to truth's gentle unfolding. In the quietude of darkness, when the familiar structures of identity begin to crumble, an expansive abyss opens within. This space is not void, but vibrant, humming with dormant possibilities and untapped truths. Much like sailors cling to their constellations in the night sky, we too tether ourselves to the certainties of our identity. But when these certainties dissolve, how do we navigate the boundless sea of the self? Encountering this inner void can disorient, challenging the foundations carefully built over time. Yet, amidst this turbulence, a quiet whisper rises, a call to seek authenticity by exploring untouched dimensions of who we are. This journey mirrors the classic descent into the underworld, a motif echoing through myths worldwide. These tales convey our innate fear of losing the futures we meticulously plan, the pasts we cling to, and the present comfort we shelter. These narratives reveal that identity, wrapped in its everyday guise, can sometimes become a prison. To step into the unknown is to surrender to the darkness, discovering it as fertile ground for sowing the seeds of our truest self. Herein lies our potential, hidden, dormant yet brimming with life's promise. The void is not an enemy but a canvas. Gazing into it with curiosity, rather than fear, invites transformation and growth, unlocking the profound depths within. Transformation is seldom gentle. It echoes the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly, a process of dissolution and rebirth. Psychologically, this manifests as anxiety, a palpable resistance, as the ego clings to the familiar. The unknown offers no assurances, no maps or destinations. As it questions all you hold dear, this discomfort asks you to sacrifice certainty for possibility, stepping into the abyss without guarantees of safety or recognition. Yet within this tension lies true evolution. Identity collapse initiates an inner alchemy, blending your raw desires, fears, and dreams into a more holistic self. It's not about becoming someone new, but rather rediscovering who you have always been beneath societal expectations and self-imposed limitations. As the external clamour fades, a voice, long buried under the demands of life, begins to murmur, a voice of quiet authenticity. It does not compete with the din of social media or the cacophony of societal pressure. Instead, it resonates from deep within, echoing truths that ring with clarity and depth. To hear this voice, you must silence the external and allow space for introspection. By heeding this gentle guide, you embark on a quest not merely for answers, but for wisdom and understanding. Authenticity is not about perfection. It embraces the rich complexity of human experience. Acceptance of imperfections lights the path to true liberation, shedding pretense to step into a state of being that simply is. Fear and freedom waltz, two sides of the same coin. Confronting the unknown self dismantles the safety net of familiar identity, sparking terror. But within this fear reside the roots of freedom. By relinquishing control, embracing vulnerability, you unlock vast possibilities beyond current self-perception. This realm, where fear and freedom entwine, tests courage, not the absence of fear, but its mastery. Here lies freedom, an inner liberation from past narratives and future anxieties. Embracing this expands possibilities, encouraging a dynamic exploration of self. Uncertainty becomes the gateway to transformation, the threshold where the ego's grip loosens, allowing deeper aspects of the psyche to surface. Standing at this precipice demands a profound leap of faith, trusting in self-discovery without clear destinations. Transitioning through uncertainty involves shedding identities that no longer serve. In accepting uncertainty, adaptability and resilience replace rigidity as newfound allies. This opening reveals the paradox of life. Safety found not in stability, but in the surrender to life's flow. Central to embracing the unknown is the courage to let go. It marks the cessation of resistance, ushering in acceptance of impermanence, fluidity, and change's inevitability. Letting go is not loss, but liberation from constraints that stifle growth. This gentle surrender involves mindfulness, being present with emotions that emerge. The beauty and pain of transformation intertwine in this mindful presence, honouring renewal's sacred process. Through the collapse of identity, reflection reveals deeper insights. Amidst chaos, reflection becomes a mirror, unveiling your inner world's intricacies. Observing emotions, thoughts and beliefs provides clarity, a chance to explore without judgment. Quiet contemplation fosters a new sense of presence, unraveling fear and doubt, fostering wisdom, a light cutting through confusion. Within the fertile soil of the unknown self lies the seeds of profound transformation. Each seed symbolizes a facet of potential, awakening in its own divine timing. This transformation is in the quiet depths of our psyche lies the shadow, an idea first illuminated by the profound insights of Carl Jung. This hidden realm within us is a repository for the traits, emotions, and qualities we choose to ignore or deny. When we encounter strong emotional reactions, we are often witnessing a flicker from this shadowed side, providing us with a momentary glimpse of what we have yet to embrace as part of our conscious identity. It is not merely the events we face that provoke us, but the resonance they stir with our hidden and unacknowledged selves. Let us embark on a journey to transform confusion into understanding, empowering us to reclaim those elements we've so long overlooked. Imagine your emotional triggers as torches, illuminating the corners of a dimly lit chamber. Initially, their sudden light may cause us to recoil, to avoid the dancing shadows cast about us. Yet, what if we took a moment to pause, to scrutinize these projections more closely? Deep within our reactions, we find disowned fragments: anger, fear, vulnerability, and longing. Recognizing and embracing our shadow allows us to transform these tumultuous emotions into a dialogue, giving voice and visibility to what has long been silent. Consider anger, often deemed a destructive force, itself a reflection of the warrior spirit tucked away within us. Instead of being tamed, this anger can stand as an advocate for our needs and boundaries. When unexamined, it can erupt and catch us off guard, signalling its rootedness in our shadow. What are we really protecting? And what unmet needs does this outburst reveal? By probing these questions, we untangle its origins and invite the disowned warrior back into our psyche, turning anger from a threat into a guiding ally. Fear, ever present in its silent omnipotence, masquerades as darkness, while its essence is safeguarding us from threats, both real and imagined. In moments of fear-triggered reaction, we are offered a chance to peer beneath the surface. Why this fear, and from what does it truly protect? Engaging fear with courage and compassion lights the shadow, revealing its lessons. No longer dictating our responses, it becomes a wellspring of wisdom, illuminating paths toward freedom and understanding. Hidden within the shadows is vulnerability, often mistaken for weakness, yet it is an integral part of our humanity. Our defensiveness and shame subtly indicate an unexamined vulnerability. The shadow consumes these signals, protecting our softer selves from a world valuing invulnerability. But what happens if we dare to reveal our vulnerable side? Vulnerability is strength cloaked in hesitance, an embrace revealing profound courage. As we make space for it, we nurture resilience and invite deeper connections, transforming vulnerability from a burden into a powerful agent of change. Within this shadowy terrain also lies longing, a deep-seated yearning for what seems out of reach. These are echoes of our soul, reflecting desires deemed unattainable or forbidden. Triggers associated with longing may seem frustrating, but they whisper a timely invitation for introspection. What does your soul seek, and what silent cries beg acknowledgement? When longing is faced, its pain shifts into a compass, guiding us ever closer to fulfillment. To walk this path is both courageous and transformative, leading us toward the discovery of what we truly desire and how to attain it. Reactions often serve as mirrors, projecting our shadow elements outward onto others. In doing so, we cast our disowned qualities as the root of our triggers, blaming external forces for internal discomfort. This deflects from understanding and leaves the shadow examined only in brief glances. By recognizing when this projection occurs, we cultivate self-awareness, redirecting focus from outward blame to inward reflection. Such mirrors highlight neglected aspects of ourselves, turning projections into conversations with our shadow, inching us closer to integration. This integrative dance is guided by Jungian psychology and alchemy, fueling the journey to wholeness. Here, emotional triggers become guides, tenderly nudging us toward acknowledging and reintegrating the displaced facets of our being. Through dedication and compassion, journaling, meditation, and dialogue unveil the shadow's teachings. These practices dissolve disparities between our conscious and unconscious selves, fostering profound inner change and attuning us to what lies beneath. Engaging with and understanding these shadow aspects empowers us to reclaim our emotional sovereignty. This task, challenging yet liberating, involves traversing the emotional landscape with intention and grace, transforming previously unexamined triggers from controlling puppeteers into enlightening friends. How does one truly embody this emotional sovereignty? Each moment then becomes a chance to journey deeper within, cultivating resilience and awareness, enhancing our interactions and enriching our narratives. Across time, myths, stories, and sacred traditions have elegantly captured this shadow dance. They serve as mirrors reflecting our timeless journey of self-discovery. Symbols and archetypes offer guidance and perspective on this complex subject, reconnecting us with storied pathways. By engaging with these narratives, our relationship with the shadow gains depth and perspective, becoming a shared voyage of meaning. As we conclude this exploration, let us embrace a profound truth. Wholeness is not the shadow's absence, but its integration. Through accepting the shadow, we conquer not only fears, but also celebrate the rich tapestry of who we are. Triggers transform from obstacles into cherished teachers, guiding us toward continual growth and completeness. By embracing their messages, we find strength in our humanity, discovering beauty in the dance of darkness and light. In a quiet chapel of timeless tales, a story unfolds, one as weathered and artful as the golden seams of kintsugi pottery, an art where broken vessels find new life in shimmering scars. These vessels whisper of resilience, their fractures lovingly embraced, each piece a testimony to beauty and endurance. As we stand at the brink of identity's collapse, much like these ancient artifacts, we are invited to gather our fragmented selves, weaving them into the rich tapestry of our being. These shards, like sacred relics, hold tales and truths long hidden, waiting to guide us on the path to healing. In the brief hesitant silence that follows breaking, there lies a profound space for rebirth. Life, in its relentless rhythm, presents us with moments of rupture, traumas, heartbreaks and losses that strip us bare, revealing the raw architecture of our souls. Yet within these fractures lives the seed of transformation, demanding our full presence, gently coaxing us to sit with the stories each fragment whispers. Here, healing isn't about reconstructing a former coherence, but about embracing the harmony of newly discovered wholeness. Gently, like rustling leaves, stories from our fragmented selves speak, narratives woven from shadows and light. As we navigate this landscape of identity, we uncover layers of forgotten dreams, muted fears, and desires buried beneath time's gentle sands. Listening becomes an act of grace, allowing these stories to surface, unfold, and gradually align, revealing an unbroken thread across the chapters of our lives we hadn't noticed. It is in the melodic cadence of shared narratives, of whispered memories, that we find meaning and continuity. This tender act of listening isn't passive. It is an engagement filled with compassion. In honouring each fragment's tale, we soften silence into acceptance, transforming shame and regret into understanding. Each story unveiled with kindness imparts its wisdom, each a lesson on the tapestry of who we are. Through these narratives, we remember we are not bound to our past missteps or our anxieties about the future. We are a flowing continuum, a living story in constant renewal. In solitude, we find sacred refuge, a silent chamber bathed in introspection and stillness. Here, amidst solitude, we glimpse the undercurrents of our desires and fears, free from the jarring noise of the outer world. It's in this sacred silence we dialogue with our fragments, inviting them into our evolving identity. This solitude is a gift, offering a chance to rediscover voices once drowned by societal expectations and self-doubt, transforming introspection into a portal of profound freedom. Engaging with our inner child, a symbol of innocence and wonder, becomes essential in this pilgrimage. Their voice, bright and unburdened, illuminates our journey with insights into the fears and dreams that carved our paths. As adults, we often distance ourselves from this vibrant essence, dismissing it as naive. Yet in its embrace lies the key to authenticity and healing, as it gently reintroduces playfulness and creativity lost to our grown-up pursuits. Jung's shadow gazes out from obscurity, not as an adversary, but a wise teacher. Through its darkened lens, we learn to recognize our vulnerabilities and hidden desires, integrating them into our conscious selves. This dance with our shadows reveals the paradoxes of human nature. Anger transformed to energy, fear into courage. By embracing these darker aspects, we are liberated, seeing them not as foes but as vital eddies within the larger stream of selfhood, guiding us to cohesive authenticity. Among our fragmented selves, we find remnants of old hopes and dreams, aspirations left in the tender folds of forgotten times. As we revisit these silvery shards with renewed curiosity, they rekindle our sense of potentiality, reminding us of paths unexplored. These fragments are lively embers, waiting for the breath of attention to reignite their fire. By weaving them back into our existence, we venture into a realm of possibility, nurturing a vision of life that welcomes growth and authenticity with open arms. Through this tapestry of fragments arises the question of authenticity, a quest not for a fixed end, but for a lived, dynamic truth. This pursuit requires peeling back layers to expose the raw essence of self, a process of continual discovery, of discerning true desire from imposed roles. In this delicate, ongoing balance, our fragments are not burdens but treasures, bastions of strength that empower a life of integrity and grace. The tender art of storytelling becomes our guide, enfolding our lives in metaphor and myth, transforming fragmented moments into a cohesive narrative. Stories heal, offering insight and unity, painting the chaotic dance of existence in meaningful hues. As the authors of our tales, we mould our stories with wisdom, strengthening our emerging identities. Each retelling is a journey deeper into the heart of self-understanding, a testament to our resilience and perpetual evolution. Rituals laden with symbolism emerge to cradle our identity's journey back to unity. Whether through quiet meditation or joyful commemoration, these practices become havens of calm and coherence. They honour the entirety of our experience, weaving the multitude of life's moments into a quilt of belonging, grounding us in the timeless dance of becoming. In the end, wholeness isn't a destination. It is an unfolding journey, a continuous embrace of every fragment and every nuance. With love and intention, we weave the past, present, and future into an eclectic mosaic, an identity not bound by perfection, but empowered by acceptance. Through cycles of collapse and reintegration, we find that healing's not about perfection. In the gentle stillness of life's ebb and flow, emotional triggers often sneak upon us, much like whispers of a forgotten memory, stirring a whirlwind of feelings. At first encounter, they seem disruptive, unwanted intrusions into our tranquil facade. Yet, beneath their unsettling surface lies a hidden potential, a messenger bringing profound insights from the shadows of our psyche. Instead of viewing these triggers merely as nuisances, consider them invitations to journey inward, to unveil the teachings they bear. The initial jolt of discomfort opens a door to profound realizations, urging a deeper exploration into their origins and meanings. When we greet these visitors, the triggers, with curiosity rather than resistance, they transform from feared disturbances into gentle guides, leading us back to the depths of ourselves. This internal shift nudges us from fear toward understanding and from defensiveness toward openness. By approaching our triggers as bearing messages, we cultivate a compassionate dialogue. What lesson do you carry for me? Or, what hidden part of my being do you illuminate now? These inquiries, posed sincerely, transform barriers into bridges towards self-awareness and the soothing balm of healing. Delving into this exploration calls for a nurturing curiosity, a willingness to discover rather than flee. Begin by considering what the trigger awakens within. This is not an inquisition, but an ongoing journey of discovery, void of the need for immediate answers. By engaging with the trigger through a beginner's mind, free from the weight of assumptions, we allow new insights and truth to gently surface. This approach not only eases judgment but fosters a compassionate unfolding of layers, enriching our understanding and connection to ourselves. Beneath the waves of emotional reaction, our triggers often harbour narratives from the past, stories we might not even recognise consciously. Engaging with these triggers encourages us to unravel and rewrite these scripts, unearthing the beliefs and themes they uphold. Often hidden within the depths of our subconscious, these narratives drive our responses without conscious awareness. By listening intently to what each trigger communicates, we gradually clarify how our past shapes our perceptions and emotions, transforming them into tools for writing new, liberating stories. As we navigate these inner stories, an engagement with our vulnerability becomes vital, a courageous embrace of our tender spots, yearning for understanding and compassion. Vulnerability proves the gateway to genuine dialogue, enabling a confrontation with our emotional landscapes devoid of any facade. This authenticity marks the beginning of true healing, allowing us to witness and cherish our emotions without fear. Embraced as a strength, vulnerability cultivates a space for self-acceptance and empathy, offering profound insights into our emotional fabric. In the noiseless whisper of reflection, we find a potent ally in understanding our triggers. Quiet contemplation allows for an authentic conversation with these emotional visitors as we step away from external clamour and demands. In this stillness, deeper listening emerges, inviting us to delve into the nuances of our responses and the wisdom they unveil. Patience guides us here, as insights arise slowly, unfolding their truths over time. Reflection turns into a sacred mirror, reflecting our emotional landscape with gentle clarity. At the heart of this dialogue lies compassionate inquiry. Kind, patient questions emerge not from judgment, but from a genuine intent to understand. Engaging with ourselves as tenderly as with a cherished friend, we approach each trigger with kindness, permitting hidden voices to speak and be heard. In this way, every trigger reveals a lesson, cloaked in discomfort, longing for our gentle attention. Through these compassionate exchanges, the intensity of triggers diminishes, fostering deeper self-connection and insight. Every trigger carries wisdom, a tranquil beacon guiding us towards self-discovery. Honouring this wisdom means recognising triggers as guides, lessening the need to conquer them, focusing instead on extracting their valuable insights. This multifaceted wisdom intertwines past echoes with present growth opportunities. By embracing triggers as friends rather than enemies, we open pathways for transformation and healing, guided by our innate wisdom. As we engage with these triggers, a profound opportunity arises to craft a narrative aligned with our essence. With each untangling of emotional threads, we possess the power to reshape our stories, infusing them with awareness and intention. This is not an erasure of the past, but a transformative reshaping of its meaning. By reframing our narratives, we unearth empowerment, resilience, and truthful self-expression. With newfound understanding, we not only accept past chapters, but also honour them as integral to our journey, welcoming the chance for healing and liberation. The journey with triggers is a continuous unfolding practice. Patience becomes our steadfast companion, knowing that transformations emerge gradually through consistent dialogue, reflection, and compassionate inquiry. Embracing patience allows recognition of every small transformation along the path, nurturing hope and healing. Even in moments of stillness, patience teaches us to welcome progress in its own time, lovingly sowing seeds of resilience and emotional wisdom. Through this dialogue, we integrate lessons from these exchanges into our daily lives. Integration bridges insight and transformation, allowing understandings gathered to become embodied wisdom. Each conversation nudges us closer to practical, lived change, shaping interactions, perceptions, and our collective well-being. By committing to this process, we embrace the potential for profound change, moving with strength and self-awareness through life's emotional landscapes. In the vast landscape of emotional healing, acknowledgement emerges as a silent yet formidable catalyst. It is the gentle moment where recognition gracefully replaces resistance, transforming bewilderment into clarity. As we stand before our emotional triggers, the initial act is not to shun them as mere nuisances, but to honour their presence. This act is akin to pausing under the shelter of an ancient oak, observing a brewing storm with wonder, instead of being swept away by its ferocity. Our early encounters with these emotional tempests often ignite an internal struggle, a dance with the familiar allure of comfort and ignorance. Yet, true strength is found in the pause, in the deliberate choice to witness rather than react. By choosing to meet our triggers with acknowledgement, we lay down the foundation for deeper understanding and metamorphosis. In this act of observation, free from immediate judgment, we unearth the intricate layers of meanings and memories woven within. Acknowledgement is no solitary act, but a dynamic, unfolding journey across the meandering paths of time. As we continue to engage with our triggers, we begin to perceive the profound lessons they hold. Like wisdom hidden in the gentle rustling of leaves, transformation takes root as curiosity replaces the compulsion to control, letting our relationship with discomfort evolve naturally. In this tender state of open curiosity, we perceive the subtle nuances of our triggers, their historical echoes, emotional depth, and personal significance, allowing them to become gateways to healing instead of barriers to serenity. The shift from resistance to acknowledgement encourages a gentle dialogue with our inner selves, where pain is not extinguished but understood within a broader, richer context. The story of our triggers, once dismissed as chaotic and disruptive, begins to weave its narrative, rich with insight and awareness, challenging us to explore the deeper currents of our subconscious. Amidst emotional tumult, chaos often snares us with its whirlwind allure. The energy they release can feel jarring, thrusting us into heightened reactivity and confusion. However, beneath this storm, there lie the seeds of clarity, obscured by immediate emotional upheaval. As we sit with discomfort and acknowledge its presence without succumbing to it, the energy gently shifts. What once amplified distress begins to soften, transforming into a force of navigation. This alchemy of acknowledgement converts our volatile experiences into coherent insights. The transition from chaos to clarity does not happen in the blink of an eye. It requires the slow patience of the unfolding dawn. As we disentangle our identities from the chaos, patterns begin to emerge. Patterns that guide us towards deeper self-awareness. This process invites us to probe discomfort rather than flee from it, leading to revelations that reshape our perspectives. Through acknowledgement, we learn to trust this process, recognizing that clarity often emerges in its own time, with the fullness of the trigger's message integrated within us. Often, we mistake pain as a foe, an adversary to be banished. But pain can serve as a bridge to intuition, a catalyst for profound understanding. When we acknowledge pain rather than suppress it, we open a portal to intuitive insight. This transformative approach suggests that within each painful experience lies an opportunity to access a deeper understanding of ourselves. When engaged thoughtfully, pain reveals truths hidden by our conscious defenses. This approach requires a radical shift, shunning hurried solutions or distractions for the opportunity to sit with discomfort and let it inform us. Pain then becomes not a destructive force, but a clarifying lens. This transformation occurs as we unearth pain's underlying messages, emotional signals pointing towards areas needing healing or growth. Through acknowledgement, pain becomes our guide, leading us beyond the superficial into the depths of intuition, where authentic answers await, discovered through patience and deep listening. The journey through acknowledgement demands a shift from reactivity to reflective insight. Emotional reactivity often arises from an unchecked compulsion to protect, sparking impulsive responses and perpetuating conflict. Yet true transformation lies in the pause between stimulus and response, where reflective insight can bloom. Reflective insight, nurtured through acknowledgement, counterbalances reactivity by fostering patience and self-inquiry. When we reflect, we distance ourselves from immediacy, allowing new perspectives to arise. This shift transforms triggers from threats into opportunities for growth. As we cultivate reflective insight, we dismantle the grip of reactivity, allowing intention to rise, leading us to emotional resilience and depth. Transforming through acknowledgement is an alchemical process, one that unfolds slowly, weaving painful experiences with insight into a cohesive whole. In the crucible of acknowledgement, conflicting emotions distill into wisdom and understanding, much like lead into gold. This journey requires viewing emotional pain not as a problem, but as material for transformation. As alchemists of our own healing, we turn fear and doubt into self-awareness and confidence. This gradual transformation respects the complexity of emotions, ensuring a substantial shift toward balance and wholeness. The insights gained through acknowledgement can reshape our reality, altering our perception of ourselves and the world. These insights arise as gentle revelations, offering new paradigms to view life. As we engage with triggers, these insights weave a new narrative rooted in authenticity. Such insights reorient perspectives, revealing the layers behind our responses. They invite us to rewrite outdated scripts, redefining our relationship with pain and guiding us toward renewed agency and purpose. In acknowledging our triggers, we develop emotional reflexivity, a skill of observing responses with empathy. This practice mirrors our inner world, revealing the interplay between emotions and thoughts. It cultivates a connection with our inner selves, promoting healing and growth. Within the chaos of emotional triggers, there lies profound silence, a key to transformation. In silence, truth emerges, untainted by distractions. Here, acknowledgement and healing take root. By embracing this silence, we learn stillness and presence, uncovering whispers of our subconscious, inviting transformation to unfold with grace and authenticity. This quiet space offers clarity and courage to embrace our emotional journey. Acknowledgement empowers us to move from automatic reactions to conscious choice, enabling alignment with deeper values. With conscious choice, we transcend triggers, choosing responses reflecting our highest intentions. Embracing this power makes us active participants in our journey, leading to liberation and transformation, an act of self-authorship and reinvention. Finally, acknowledgement invites us to view our emotional journey as an ongoing practice. Transformation is not a finite destination, but a lifelong engagement with growth. Each trigger and insight offers new opportunities, encouraging openness and resilience amidst uncertainty. Through acknowledgement, we embrace our complex emotions, celebrating each step on the path to wholeness and integration, guided by awareness. In the maelstrom of life's challenges, emotional triggers often resemble tempests that threaten to uproot our sense of stability. Yet amidst every storm lies a centre of calm, an eye of consciousness where solace and clarity reside. This serene space is not merely a refuge from chaos, but a gateway to awakening. Here the skies clear, revealing truths obscured by avoidance and haste. Embracing these storms instead of resisting allows this conscious eye to expand, illuminating our path with hard-won wisdom. Awakened consciousness calls us to remain present, witnessing the torrents of emotion without judgment. We are beckoned to step into the role of observer, curious and aware, resisting the chaos that seeks to distract. This approach does not diminish the storm's intensity, but transforms our relationship with it, inviting us to dance with the winds of change. The result is a resilience born of self-awareness, offering liberation from reactivity's chains, not through control, but through acceptance and understanding. In the heart of every storm lies a liberating truth, both daunting and profound, the impermanence of all things. To awaken with the storm is to accept change as inevitable, defining our existence through its transient nature. This understanding transforms us from warriors battling emotional tides to monks meditating on life's flow. As we embrace impermanence, we ride emotional waves, not drown in them, planting seeds of resilience in the fertile ground of acceptance. Navigating storms with this knowledge places emphasis not on outcomes, but on the journey. Each trigger becomes an opportunity for growth and self-exploration. We are freed from the certainties of permanence, liberated by the dynamic nature of self-evolution. This embrace of impermanence redefines stability, allowing us peace in transformation's fluid dance, seeing beauty in existence's transient choreography. Detachment emerges not as a lack of emotion, but an artful engagement without losing oneself. As storms rage, the dance of detachment invites us to step back, observing emotional responses with neutrality. In doing so, we acknowledge rather than deny emotions, freeing ourselves from reactivity's tyrannical grip. This dance, through conscious detachment, reveals emotions as fleeting guests, companions on self-discovery's path, rather than tyrants over our journey. Practicing detachment requires a disciplined mind, catching ourselves in the chaos and returning to this mindful dance. Each step dismantles mental constructs tying worth to emotional upheavals, unveiling a resilient core untouched by storm's fury. We're liberated to experience emotions without attachment. Understanding their role is not to define, but to illuminate undiscovered, integrable self-areas. Vulnerability, often stripped bare in life's storms, offers immense grounding strength. No longer perceived as weakness, vulnerability becomes an authentic expression of humanity, a connector to our essence beneath conditioning. Grounded in vulnerability, we enter transformation's sanctum, where openness to our fragility lays the foundation for enduring strength. Engaging vulnerability amidst turmoil requires courage, a bravery to stand unarmoured, embracing storms as they reshape us. This grounding signifies not absence of fear, but willingness to coexist with it, transforming storms into sacred renewal rituals. Vulnerability, stripping defences, reconnects us with inherent resilience, revealing fear's tears as potential for dawn's greater insight. Each storm heralds self-discovery, surfacing hidden self-aspects, demanding recognition and integration. These psyche elements, once shadowed, dance in stormlight, urging discovery and befriending. Rediscovering self amid storms challenges identity narratives, transforming myths of inadequacy or invulnerability into deeper truths. Storms teach us self-authorship, relinquishing stories, honouring others, aligning with values and aspirations. Amid tumult, the art of self-authorship unfolds, where we choose stories to honour and release. Awareness expands as old identities dissolve, forging authentic emergence, not externally dictated but aligned with deeper values. This newfound authenticity fosters empowerment, making personal evolution evident and dynamic. The storm invites paradox, a reconciliation of contradictions. Strength lies in surrender, wisdom in accepting incomprehensible, progress through stillness and introspection. Embracing paradox defies binary existence logic, unbinding us from either-or confines. Acceptance of life's fluid nature reveals power's emergence from union, not division of opposites. Such acceptance requires dwelling in uncertainty, acknowledging life's complex dance, relinquishing definitive pursuit. Awake in the storm, we love fiercely. Let go, move forward, embracing loss's cyclical nature. Engaging with paradox enriches emotional intelligence, allowing wisdom to arise from experience's interconnectedness, guiding harmonious paths beyond separation illusions. Reflection amidst storms serves as guiding light, transforming disturbance into insight. A ritual, not escape, but soulward retreat, uncovering meaning's depths. Reflective practices process storms, illuminating hidden patterns and welcoming new perspectives for growth's fertile ground. Journals, as companions, reflect our evolution, linking past, present, and future understanding. Surrender in Storm's Eye reveals paradox. It liberates from fear's chains. Not defeat or passivity, surrender opens openness to life's unfolding, dissolving expectation weights, and controls certainty illusions. Surrender, fertile with growth potential, allows peace and chaos coexistence, tapping inner strength and resilience reservoir. Choosing surrender cultivates inner sanctuary, guiding actions from aligned truth. Liberated from suffering's cycle, clinging to fears dissolves, allowing love's flow. Storms as awakening catalysts, access profound self-depths, capabilities emerging with surrender's embrace. Awakening within storms empowers us to reimagine futures unbound by past fears or limitations. Possibilities open, envisioning lives rooted in intentions, presence, and authenticity. Storms redefine life's narrative, obstacle-less, transformation prominent. This forward view seeks integration and vision, aligning higher selves with changes manifesting internally and outwardly. This concluding journey echoes a cyclical renewal, not end. Awakening within storms remains eternal adventure, a lively testament to spirit's transformative capacity. As storms guide us through consciousness's eye, we ask, join again, like and subscribe, and